send it to.
The Bears banner. Week number 8. Chicago Bears against the New Orleans Saints. I don't know for reason at the beginning of the program, my screen always freezes. I'm not sure what's happening there. So this evening you have myself, Bernard Muhammad, Guy Moore, Tammy Harris, Jay Beasley, and Keith Flournoy for the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears lose 26-23 to the Saints. How's everybody doing this evening?
We good. Why are you smiling though?
Because he was the only one picked the Saints. That's why. That's why he's smiling.
Exactly. He finally caught up.
He broken-hearted.
Hey, trust me, I never cheered against the Bears, but I did catch up, didn't I?
Yeah,
You did.
Yeah, I had to take a gamble on this. Let me see if I can get the right thing on the screen right quick. Take that off.
What, y'all go put the stats out there first?
Yeah, let's just put the stats out there.
No.
If I had followed my first mind, you wouldn't have been caught up.
Yeah, see, I saw it in your face, Tammy.
That's the earliest caveat yet.
Yeah, exactly.
You saw me changing my mind.
Right.
Of course, because I always want the Bears to win in my heart.
That caveat turned into caviar for Bernard.
Okay.
So yeah, let's start off though. The Bears, Saints 26 and the Bears. I actually got the wrong score. That should be 23, right? I think that's 20.
Yeah, 23.
23. Right, 23. Yep, there we are. Okay. So let's do a recap of where we at as far as stats. Where I work on a few things on the broadcast. Tammy 4-4.
Oh wait, we start out immediately.
Yeah, we're gonna start off immediately.
Okay, we usually would lead in a little bit, but that's okay. Come on, I see you.
Tammy, look at that. I love my Bears, but I just wanted to start off here.
Okay.
We almost got a better record than they do.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Jaye is 3-5. I'm 4-4. Guy 4-4. And Plank is 4-4. I finally caught up with these guys. Y'all was kicking my butt. But let's jump into why we here today. Anybody got anything they want to express before we jump into the first question?
Well,
No, I don't.
first thing I want to express.
You want to express dismay?
Let's not be so downhearted. They came back from that abysmal. Jay, I'm gonna order you some. I owe you some money for copyrighting that word. That abysmal performance on Monday. So it was a competitive game. So they did show that they got some heart. So, even if they did lose, it went to overtime. So there's still some hope, in my opinion. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna start off with the same question we always do when the Bears lose a game. That first question is, what happened today? Let's start with Tammy. What happened?
Well, as bad as it was competitive for most of the game, and it was winnable. Of course, the defense kept us in it like they always do. They got away from the run game. In the first half, they found some success with the run game, and I was like hoping that they were like channeling the spirit of Walter Payton today on the anniversary of his passing. And in the first half, it looked like they might just find a run game, and then they abandoned it. And Nick Foles, I don't know, for somebody who's a veteran quarterback, you would think that he would have way more composure
Come on, Terry, talk to him.
In the pocket. And I don't understand why he thinks that we get, an advantage of him going back 5+ yards on every play before he throw the ball or try to find something. Like, that does not help us. And then I don't know why he don't know how to get rid of the ball and why he takes all of these sacks. I just don't know why. The offense just completely fell apart in the second half, and the defense tried to hold us in there, but they can't do it by themselves.
Okay. Hey, what about you, Guy? What happened today?
What does How can I put this? What does COVID-19 and losing have in common? It's like if you're around, everybody gets it. You know, Foles was in a situation with Philly where you had guys who had a mindset that regardless of how down they were or how bad they played, they knew in the fourth quarter they played lights out, or if it was close, they were going to win the game. It was a mindset. Foles was MVP of the Super Bowl. Okay, he comes to a squad where you got guys who are athletes and the defense is great, but he's an offensive guy. You look around and there's some things that I think that outside of maybe Montgomery, maybe guys like Robinson and Mooney, guys like that who basically do believe, and as you can tell by their play, guys just have this mindset that they're like, when they're in a circumstance. And then you get a guy like Foles to come here. Tammy said this, and she pointed out to us, and we looked at it, was clear as day. It's almost like he's scared. He's like freaking out over stuff before it even happens. I mean, you know, it's like he's conjuring up fear or something that's not even there. So when it comes and you see the sacks and all that, but I just think it's a mindset, man. We got to, I mean, the play call is one thing, but the guys don't believe that they can win. It don't even matter what you call.
Okay. Hey, Jay, you're up.
I don't know. Oh, Jay, do it, man. Just once, man. Just do it.
I don't know.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you, sir.
The first half, the Bears actually played pretty well. They really did. What happened today in the third quarter? It was disastrous.
Mm-hmm.
We had 9 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game, and the Bears gave 49 yards in the second half. Nick Foles, I hate to say this. Y'all. I hate to say this. But I'm going to tell y'all something. The Bears might need to go back to Mr. Trubisky. And the reason I say that,
those are both shots fired.
That's big, man. That's big.
Hey, that's big. But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. The sacks that Nick Foles are taking they're not good. I mean, I'm like, dude, get rid of the ball.
Get rid of the parking lot.
There would have been some. There was some plays where he had an opportunity to actually run and gain some yards, and he took some critical sacks today. Took the Bears out of field goal range. It stalled drives. I hate to say it, but I hate to say it. And even we was texting earlier today when they had Mitch in for a play. I'm like, okay, incorporate this and let's see what happened. But the bottom line is, Nick Foles is a statue, and he's hurting us. He's hurting us on some very big plays. When you try to come from behind, you can't afford to take sacks. I'm talking about 8-9 yard sacks. You can't afford to take that.
I hate to say
You can't afford to take that.
And even we was texting earlier today when they had
Hey, Plank, you're up next.
I'm like, okay,
I'll tell you what.
Let's see what happened.
I think somebody else.
Yeah, that was me. I didn't expect that to come through.
So the Bears started out really good, up tempo. They got a lot of good stuff going. Money Mooney, that's what I'm gonna start calling that young man, because
that's my boy. That's my boy.
Mooney brought it. AR also brought it. Great catch in the first half. He's been playing lights out all game. I'm gonna tell you something. In my opinion, the Bears actually lost that game in the second quarter with under 2 minutes left. New Orleans had the ball. They had been stopped. They didn't have anything going, and the Bears decided, let's call a timeout. I said, what sense does that make? So let's play it back a little bit, right? So you're up 13-3. You get the ball back after halftime. So you go ahead and let the clock run out at the end of the second quarter, regroup, you get the ball back. Worst case scenario, you up 13-3. The Bears didn't do that. They called a timeout to give New Orleans some more time to run plays. New Orleans scores. That changed the entire complexion of the game. So bad management, bad clock management from Nagy once again. that cost us a victory in my opinion.
Okay. Hey, what I think happened with the Bears is the Bears' inability to play full quarters in a football game offensively.
Okay.
True. True.
Yeah,
Captain
True.
Obvious on that one.
yeah,
True.
they can't play
That's an
full
understatement.
quarter.
That's an
Yeah,
understatement.
I thought what we talked about in the pregame, the Bears defense did show up. They got the stops that they needed, but the Bears offense needs their defense to score. There's no doubt about that. If the defense cannot score or put them with a short field, it's a long day. And Nick Foles, what else happened today is Nick Foles looks like a deer. What is it? Deer in the headlights.
Yep.
Whatever the
Yep.
term is. He see any kind of movement, he's throwing off his back foot. He just he was lucky there was actually not 3 picks today. Yeah, 2 of them was dropped. But that, you know what, that's where I'm gonna stop now. But let me move to the next question that some of y'all actually brought up, and we're gonna start out with Plank. What happened to the Bears team in the third quarters in games? I mean, they seem to not be able to do anything in the third quarter.
Well, loss of momentum. We come out of halftime pretty flat, so we didn't start with a good tempo or what have you. It actually killed us from a morale standpoint of not being able to end that half well. Again, that ended up being huge. If we're up 13-3, worst case scenario, we come out the halftime flat, don't score, we still up 13-3. So that was a really big play. As far as the defense as well, the defense really didn't bring it in the third quarter. We're gonna put a whole lot on the offense. Clearly, we didn't score, but the defense, I think we ended the entire game with 0 sacks, and as many passes as he threw today. That can't happen.
Okay, hey Jay, you're up.
What happened to the Bears team in the third quarter? I can tell you what happened. They came out flat in the second half, getting the ball back because, like he said, that touchdown that they gave up at the end of the second quarter, that was demoralizing. And then what happened was, I ain't mad at him. I'm mad at him, kinda, but I ain't mad at him. The thing that Williams did, that was the avalanche. When I text y'all like here comes the avalanche. That was the avalanche. Because you went from momentum to penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty. Stall drive, sacks, negative yardage. That was a momentum killer. And I think I wrote something down. The Saints were able to go for it on fourth down a lot in the second half because they had such a short field. They're like, okay, you know what? It's windy. So it's 4th and 2. We're gonna go for it. And that's just so disrespectful. As good as the Bears defense played today, that was so disrespectful. I'm like, I cannot believe they're going for it on fourth down. But all the momentum swung after that whole possession with the Williams thing.
Yeah, that was being dumb, totally dumb. Guy, you're up.
I'm sorry. I understand it. I understand it because I saw the play before where the same guy that he attacked, that guy took his fingers and stuck them in Miller's eyes, right through his face mask. So he was like, okay, you know what? I'm expendable. I ain't really in a whole lot of plays, so I'm going to go out here and I'm going to get some revenge for my teammate. I understand it. It was dumb, but I understand it.
I don't know, Jay. I gotta argue with you a little bit on that. At the end of the day, we're playing football. It's a contact sport.
Yes,
if you got a problem with somebody, you go out and you execute a block and blast them. Punching them does absolutely no good. It makes no sense.
I agree.
Well,
I agree.
But
I totally agree.
Here's my whole deal with that whole thing. I'm on both sides of the fence. Here's my problem. Miller's a grown man. If Miller can't get back on his own, I can see if he got blindsided, got knocked out. The dude came up and stuck his finger in his face mask. If that dude is stuck, I'd have been chewing his finger up. That's my only problem. My problem was it's not like Miller's a punk. Miller's a grown man. Dude stuck his finger in there. He chose not to retaliate. Williams took it upon himself. Oh, I'm gonna get old boy. One, it killed the momentum. Number two, in a way, I do it, and I agree with Plank on the other side too. Now, if dude had hit him with a cheap shot and knocked him out, the next one, he great get lights out. But just to have a guy try to punk his boy and put a finger in his helmet. And now the next play, you want to play Rock'em Sock'em Robots. My thing is, if you want to be cool, don't take a shower, take your gear off, put a t-shirt, some shorts, and just meet in the parking lot. That killed our momentum because we already like in the third quarter. If you look any type of professional team that you have, any team, like I hate to go back to another sport, but remember the Bulls when they had Michael Jordan, they would be down every game for the 6 championship seasons that they won. When they came out in the third quarter, they played like it's 2 minutes left, and if we lose, we're going to lose everything. They played like they lives depend on. The Bears always just come out like kind of playing paltry. They just come out like, oh, we missed the pass. Oh, Nick Foles, oh, one leg. Oh, and then the fourth quarter comes up. Now here's dink and dunk Drew Brees. Completion, Kamara, tomato, potato, and then we lose.
Right.
Hey, I tell you what, though, Williams got his money's worth for that penalty.
Yeah, he sure did.
He definitely got his money's worth.
Hey, Tammy, you up?
He definitely got his money's worth.
What happened in the third quarter, Tammy?
Well, as much as the defense kept us in the game and kept it winnable, they played real soft. Like y'all were saying when we were texting back and forth, they were like, there was like they were going for a first down. Somebody like wasn't even like protecting it. I don't remember who it was, but they weren't protecting it.
Oh, the soft defense and red zone.
Yeah, the soft coverage, and like they were like letting them get it, like almost like walk to it. And I was like, why are they not like all up in a face? They weren't as aggressive as they needed to be, and that kind of they kind of played that way the whole third quarter.
Okay. Yeah, those everybody made some valid points. I want to point out, I know it's not no surprise to anyone, the Bears team sucked in the third quarter absolutely every game this year except one. You know how they usually say teams make halftime adjustments? So they come back out in the third quarter and they kind of got some life in them. I don't know what happens to the Bears at halftime. Maybe they go drink too much Gatorade. Texting people. I don't know what happened, but whatever happens in the locker room, the Bears come out the third quarter sluggish. They usually have these meltdowns in the third quarter where they have like excessive amount of like just dumb stuff, getting delay of games. They usually have penalties, even though they wasn't bad in the penalties today, but the third quarter seems to be a meltdown period for the Bears, and they was fortunate in the third quarter that I believe the Saints only scored 3 points in the third quarter because that game could have gotten blown up on how poorly the Bears performed in the third quarter. But anyway, let me get to the next question. I'm
sorry, but no, I just want to say the thing about it is, as a fan, we like the late game heroics and all that because it's cool. Because I was so excited because I'm like, ooh, they coming back. But when are we gonna play a game where we don't have to do that? We was up 13-3, and you supposed to be able to control a game as well as your defense is playing. You're supposed to be able to control a game like that, and it shouldn't have to be late heroics because that's not gonna always work. Which we see it didn't work today.
Yeah, it didn't work at all today. They ran out of time, but there was no urgency in the fourth quarter either by the Bears. But I think I was looking at the stats. Montgomery rushed for 89 yards today, and he broke about a 65-yarder today.
He was rolling, wasn't he?
He played like a man that was possessed. He really wanted to get those yards. The Bears actually ran 2 times in a row today. A few times. That's a milestone for the Bears. I think I don't remember what the total carries were for the game, but Plank, what's your opinion on why the Bears was able to run the ball today?
Well, strangely enough, they had a couple injuries. So you had a new center in there that had to make a difference, as well as the injury to Massey. So all of a sudden, you got two new players on the offensive line. I expected them to have some problems with continuity and not being able to pick up blitzes and things like that. But at the very least, they fired off the ball. A lot of times, I saw both of those guys, the center and number 78. His name escapes me. He brought
Jason
it.
Springs. Jason
Jason
Springs.
Springs, hey, I like him. Okay, he gave up a sack. I'm not going to eat his lunch for that. But he came out there and he competed. So I think that played a large role with us being able to run a lot better. And, when Montgomery had that long run, he was looking around like, where am I? Am I
can't
back in
believe it.
college? And it's like
I can't believe it.
he didn't know what he
I
was going to
can't believe it.
It was
Right,
amazing.
He was looking around like, I can't believe it.
Hey, Tammy, you're up.
I'm just gonna say that for the first half of the game, they were channeling the spirit of Walter Payton, and the second half, we forgot about it.
Yes.
Second half was Cedric Benson.
They actually,
Right.
found,
Curtis Enos. Curtis Enos.
they actually
With a
found
P.
some legs. They actually found some legs and some moves in the first half. I just have no idea why they abandoned it. Like throughout the second half of the game, I was excited. Like it was like I was hopeful. They were able to find some holes. They actually had some power, a little bit of power. Montgomery had some power behind his runs, and they were able to actually like break through. Like before, they couldn't find a hole, nowhere. But today they opened it up a little bit. And they found some, and everything wasn't 100% head on, like running into traffic. They actually had some movement. So that helped open up their run game, and I think they should have stuck with it.
Okay. Yeah, hey, I want to thank the people who are out there watching us live on Facebook and YouTube. And also on YouTube,
What's up,
I like
y'all?
American Male said the Bears played with a soft defense today. That's a great point, American Male. Hang in there with us. Let's move to the next person. Who's up?
Guy, I think.
No, Guy.
Jay?
Guy, you're up.
Okay,
No,
guy.
it's Guy.
Okay, guy.
Why were the Bears able to run the ball? They would always be able to run the ball. I tell you, I always have this thing that I say. It's like, you look at a man for a second, he can convince you that he's what you see. If you watch him for a long time, you can convince yourself to know that who he really is. Something I did as a psych minor is I watch people. And something I've seen in all these games, I've looked at David Montgomery, and the one common denominator that I've seen with him in every game, regardless of how bad he was, he jumped back up like, let's go. That's the type of guy that you want running your football. The unfortunate part is they don't run it when they're supposed to. They run the stupid stuff and try to do the jet sweeps and all this other crazy stuff. As you saw in that little spigot of time, I think in the fourth quarter, he ran, bust off like 10, 12 yards, got back up, came out, they did a passing play. He caught a pass, did about maybe another 10, 12 yards. And then he got stopped on the next one, but he jumped up like I'm ready again. And then they start passing, but he doesn't seem like he's dismayed. They're able to run the ball because they ran it enough at the times that they needed to. And Montgomery even the announcers were always talking about it. It was like, this kid's something special. I really like to see him have a chance to see what he can do. And something I said in my text, I'm like, if these offensive linemen would block what they were supposed to, he'd have 1,000 yards a season easy, just because he run on straight up determination. He ran because it wasn't anything that Nagy called. It was just Montgomery was determined. He's like, you know what? I don't care what happens. I'm going to run it hard every time and see what happens. But that's my thing. It's just him. He's determined to run.
He fought for those yards.
Mm-hmm.
He did.
He leads the
He
league
did.
in broken tackles with 24 broken tackles.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, hey, I want to on this next question, I want to put some information. Put my reading glasses on so I can see this. On Nick Foles, and Nick Foles has thrown for 6 touchdowns and 6 picks. The first game, his rating was 95.2. He don't play part of that game. Next game, 76.4 was his rating. Against Tampa, 83.7. 70.2, 66.8, and today's game was 81.3. So what I noticed in that, what I noticed in that, other than today's game, he's trending down as far as his quarterback rating. So that leads to the question on. I think Jay brought up the point today about we could have probably got. I think he said bring in Mitch or something, and they started throwing the ball on the sideline, which made kind of made you think that Mitch might come in. But how was Nick Foles' performance today? Just for reading that, it's a C to me. It's still his performance to me is like a rookie quarterback, not a veteran. It's like a rookie quarterback. You get a little pressure on him. He started throwing off his back foot. They talk about how even killed he is. Maybe he's even killed in this conversation, but he's not even killed when he see a blitz or when he see pressure. And sometimes it's not even pressure. It's just pocket movement, and he started panicking. He just throws the ball up for grabs. Like, I don't really care. But anyway, let's go with we're gonna start off with Tammy. How was Nick Foles' performance today?
How many backwards yards he got? Just, I'll give him a C minus, but it's just bad decision making when if you have no throw, and you are actually running backwards, get rid of the freaking ball. Like, why are you holding on to it for them to sack you to lose 8, 9, 10 yards? Like, he holds on to the ball too long when he doesn't know how to get out of stuff. Like, he has no composure. I just don't really know what to say. I thought when he came in that first game that he really had more presence and more composure in the pocket. And he looked like he did, but like the more that I see him, the more I'm like we all knew, or I think we all knew, that it wasn't 100% all Mitch. It was the play calling. But we also thought that, a veteran.
Speak on it. Speak on it. Speak on it.
We all, even though we wanted Mitch out, we didn't think it was all him. But Nick Foles, like I said, he freaks out. He has no composure in the pocket. He misses open men. Like, there were multiple times I was sitting here screaming at the TV, like, he's open, like, throw it to him. Like, he was waiting, and then he would throw it to somebody else and they got picked, and then he'd throw it to somebody else, incompletion. Like, when somebody else was like wide open, it's like he doesn't know how to make adjustments.
Okay, so that was a C or C minus?
C minus.
C minus. Okay, Plank, you're up.
I'll give Nick Foles a C minus as well. As a veteran quarterback, we have a better expectation that he has pocket presence. He had a whole lot of phantom pressure going where there was actually nobody. He wasn't in danger. He could have stepped up in the pocket, and he didn't. He kept going backwards and taking sacks that there was no way he should have taken. I know a lot of times he was still in the pocket, so maybe he couldn't have simply threw it out of bounds. That would have caused a penalty. But he still had some terrible footwork as well. So as far as his performance, his basic fundamentals really started deteriorating pretty early. And that's what led to the rest of his performance in the game. So C minus, I think that might be too high. I'm going to give him a D.
I got a D. D. He gonna need to do some extra credit work to pass this class.
Yes, he is.
Okay, yeah, you're up.
Uh-oh.
Okay, when you're a kid, there's some things that you learn. Always look both ways going across the street. When you go up in Woolworths or Weebo's, don't ask for nothing. Don't touch nothing. As a quarterback from Pee Wee League, if you are dropping back and you have no one open, you have no lanes to run, throw it out of bounds. That's not some type of stuff that they teach you in the pros. That's not some type of stuff that we should even be having a discussion about. I would even give Mitch Trubisky a little bit of a curve, and only reason why is because he played 12 college games, and unfortunately through Glennon, he had to kind of start running, so he's still learning on the fly. Foles, you was an MVP of the damn Super Bowl. Ain't nowhere in the world you're supposed to be, quote unquote, a Super Bowl MVP. One, you throwing off your back leg. That's a no-no. Number two, you holding on to the ball. Number three, last week when I was talking about maybe they need to get fired up with somebody talking about some, what you say about my mama when I said that Nick Foles was at the crib, like, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta give, I'm giving Nick Foles a D-. And the only reason why I'm giving a D- is because, like I said, he's a Super Bowl MVP. The stuff that we're seeing from him, you can understand the incompletions and stuff, that is what it is, but technical stuff, footwork, holding on to the ball too long, making stupid, especially taking a sack at a time where you cannot afford to take a sack. I'm done, but I really want to give him this one. But we're on a G-rated show, so
okay. so we have 2 C-, a D, and a D-.
Keith changed it to a D.
I changed it to a D.
To D. You had a C.
Yes, I did.
I had a C. You had a C, and I had a C. Both of us had C-, and Plank had the. And
although I understand the D, I do definitely understand giving them a D.
What you got, Jay?
Jay?
I got a D for dumb. A D for dumb. Because, dude, you can't. The sacks that you're taking are unexcusable, and that's just the bottom line. Throwing off your back foot, the interceptions that he threw today, it was like, who were you looking at? Again, I hate to say it. But after this is Foles, what, 5th game starting, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Fourth game or 5th game starting. If you look at the stats, as much as I hate to say it,
Mitch had better stats. Yards per play, just being able to escape the pocket and get some yards on the ground. I mean, this dude is a statue. We all was hooray. You know, hooray. Nick Foles came in against the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, and brought us back. He has done nothing since then. Right.
And it's all. And the saying goes: if you think you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have none.
Yeah, no quarterbacks. Yep.
So that's how I look at Nick Foles' performance. I mean, I'm gonna give him a D. I would give him an F if he wouldn't have brought us back. He at least brought us back. But I would give him an F because his performance sucked. It sucked, and the sacks that he's taking are just unexcusable. They're unexcusable.
Okay.
We should have gave him an F for Frankfurter because if Trubisky was in there, remember that sack he took at the end?
Oh,
Mr. Trubisky would have been in the tailgate area. He just saw that. He's scared in a different type of way, in a good way. He sees somebody coming, he's like, pshoo.
But do y'all remember the play? Do y'all remember the play in the 4th quarter where he actually escaped the pocket?
Yep.
Yes.
And then went sideline to sideline. I'm like, dude, run for the first down.
He ain't know how
What are you doing?
Yeah, he was waiting for Uber.
So yeah, D for dumb. D for dumb for me.
So we have 2 C-, 2 D's, and a D-. That's not a great performance.
It's not a passing grade.
Not at all. It's not a passing grade.
That's not
even with a curve. Not even with a curve. That's a passing grade.
Yeah.
Not even with a curve.
Yeah, that is very disappointing because he's one of those guys that keeps getting the opportunity, and he's blown his opportunities after that Super Bowl win. And this is the perfect opportunity for you, and you come in here, and I had said that the text message between us at one point, I said it looked like he's quit. Like he really like, I'm just throwing the ball up and hey, whatever happened. Now, he did come to life in the 4th quarter some, but let's move to the next question on defense.
Don't move me.
Yeah. How did the Bears defense look today? Let's start off with you, Plank.
Okay, thanks for letting me start with defense. I think the Bears defense did what they needed to do. We're still talking about an NFL game. For the most part, they held these guys at or below 20 points for most of the game. They kind of did give up at the beginning of the fourth quarter. They gave up a touchdown with a guy ran into the end zone and was laughing. So that bothered me. That made me want to get up. He was mic'd up. You could hear him laughing. I said, okay, next time you come by here, we going to make sure we give you something to laugh about, but it's going to be in the hospital. So the Bears defense, they played well enough, and they actually rose to the occasion on a couple different plays where, we could have just went ahead and lost outright before the fourth quarter, but they made the game a little bit more competitive and took us to overtime. So I think the defense, I'm not going to be that hard on the defense because they've been carrying the team the whole game.
You can't be.
The whole season, rather. Yeah.
Right. Oh, hey, Jay, you're up.
Our defense played lights out. And I'm going to tell you so. Roquan Smith and Derek Trevathan, who we talked about earlier this season.
We did.
Hey, I'm going to tell y'all something. Those inside linebackers today, they played lights out. Our secondary played well. We didn't get no sacks. We got some pressure on the quarterback, but no sacks. But how much are you going to ask this defense to do? Right. And that's just the bottom line. I'm just like, okay, here we go. Y'all come in, we get them 3 and out. They sustain the drive. We get them, they get us out to 20. We stop them. They kick a field goal. Okay, offense, what y'all gonna do? This defense is the lifeline of this team. And I want to throw a caveat out there about the special teams. The special teams. Time. This new punt returner Harris we got, although he's 33 years old, he at least fielded the ball.
He caught the ball.
Yes.
He fielded the ball.
Yep. Can't teach that. That's got to be DNA, man.
I know we moved to defense. Though we forgot to say pay Allen Robinson his money.
Pay Allen Robinson his damn money.
Pay Allen Robinson his money. Pay him his money. Because that touchdown he caught, did y'all see how he caught that ball on the points? He caught that ball on the points and then put it on his helmet. He had that ball in his helmet so it wouldn't hit the ground. Pay that man his money. Money. But that's okay. I would sure hate to see them let Allen Robinson get away because that's the only offensive threat that we actually have outside of Mooney. But Mooney's a rookie, and I told y'all the boy gonna be a star. The boy is gonna be a star. Yeah. But the defense, I have to get him. I have to get a defense a B. I have to get a defense a B. A B plus.
Okay.
A B plus.
A B plus from Jay?
A B plus? Oh, okay.
What?
Hey, Guy, you're up.
Hey, Jay, me and you riding the bus together. We in the Uber together, man. I got to give him a B plus. They did not get a sack, and I want to make an apology to Danny Trevathan for a good reason. And the reason being is, here's the reason why. I was on him, but you can't make a person be something that they're not. And here's where I'm going with this. Danny Trevathan is probably a guy that started on every level. He's always probably been the man at every level. And you can say what you want about getting paid money. You can say what you want about being a pro. But there's just something about a certain mindset that you have. It's hard for people to change. You get a guy like that who's always starting. The only time that he's come out is if he was tired or if he was injured. But then now you put him in this position where, he got injured and they're giving him limited reps, and then he would come in and he wasn't effective at all. They gave him some tick, and it was almost like they just had a leash on this dude and unhooked that leash. You should have seen the look. It was like I closed in on Kamara's face when Dave Trevathan went east-west on him. He caught that ball. All of a sudden, he saw his eyes get like, what? Danny Trevathan, they did that thing. The linebackers showed up outside of the one that Tammy was talking about, the red zone thing. When I was texting, I'm like, how can you play soft in the red zone? That was just like a blip. Somebody just kind of blinked and he wasn't paying attention. But as I've always preached, man, this defense, They're doing their thing, but I think that they're feeling disenchanted right now. They're like, look, man, we playing
Yes,
our
they are.
butts off. Win,
Yes, they
lose, or
are.
draw, and we come back to the bench, and as soon as we sit down, we look up, it's
We got to go
fourth
back
down.
out there. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's how
Yep.
attrition happens, man. That's why guys are coming out now, because they playing like it's a Super Bowl game every game, and they have to play like that just to be competitive because you can't score points.
Right. Hey, I want to note that we're going to be closing out in the next 2 minutes, and I want to thank everybody that's viewing out there on YouTube and Facebook. So we're going to move to Tammy next.
Wait, Keith, what was your grade?
Defense, I didn't give him a grade, but I give him an A.
You give me A? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so 2 B pluses and an A.
2 B plus. Okay.
Okay, so what's my grade for the defense?
Yes.
So we are the monsters of the Midway. We're supposed to kick butt. We're supposed to knock people on their butts. The defense has definitely kept us in it, for this whole season, and they are playing their hearts out. But one thing that I don't like about the defense is some of these weak tackles. 300 plus pound guys tackling like me. I'm like, come on. I'm like, they need to be crushing people, But and a couple of times they played soft, not just on that TD, but a couple of times on first down plays that in the third quarter where they helped them like move down the field the way that they did, like they gave them those first downs just way too easily. So I still give them a B plus, but I like
He on the Uber with us, man.
I would feel like
We're in a pool.
more aggressive tackling.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good grade. Yeah, I'm gonna give them a B plus myself, and we're gonna get ready to close out. Like I said, the Bears lose today, 26-23 against the Saints. In overtime too.
Right.
In overtime.
Yeah. They play next week. Who they playing? Tennessee,
who lost to Detroit.
Oh, did
They
they?
lost today.
Yep.
Okay.
PO playing
So-
us. They're gonna be mad.
But the Packers lost to the Vikings.
I don't want to see nobody. I don't want to see nobody getting posterized by Derrick Henry, one of his stiff arms.
No, because they're gonna be tripping Derrick Henry for sure.
Right. Do what you got to do. But I'd like to thank everybody. So we do the pregame show on Friday at 7 p.m. and we give our predictions. So until next time, thank everybody for watching us. Peace.
Deuces.
Yeah.